guys, welcome back to Mystery Monday. Today we're going to talk about the strange disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. So the Bermuda Triangle is a triangle that's 3 points are on Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. The exact range of the triangle is unknown, but it is estimated that it is between 500,000 and 1 million square miles. The term Bermuda Triangle was first coined in 1964 because of the large amount of disappearances that took place there. There has been about 100 disappearances that we know of since 1964 to 1991. The very first account of the weird things happening in the Bermuda Triangle was by Christopher Columbus himself in September or October of 1492. While he was sailing, he said that when he crossed over this area, the sea was much rougher than it had been before, much rougher than it had been the entire trip. The compasses were malfunctioning, and he had seen strange lights in the sky, as well as even claiming to see a fireball fly out of the sky and crash into the water. So we're going to get into the actual weird disappearances, as Columbus was fine and he sailed to America just fine and founded America. But yes, so these weird disappearances happened and they were all followed by rescue attempts, which also failed to find them. Alright, well, one of the disappearances we're going to talk about is the USS Cyclops that disappeared March 4th, 1918. The weird thing was that it had been radioing other ships perfectly fine, but then it disappeared, and they didn't radio that they were in distress or anything. There was no signal that they had been hurt or had hit something. There was nothing from them. And as well as this, many other ships had sent radio signals to them, and not one person answered one of them. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. Which is a little bit weird, considering if your ship was in distress such as the Titanic, they called out for help several times. The ship sunk over a matter of time. Like, ships don't just disappear, they have the process of sinking and everything. So it's a little weird that no one said anything. They just were gone. Next was the 23-foot cabin cruiser called the Witchcraft, which disappeared December 23rd, 1967. And this ship was called Unsinkable, which, yes, we have all heard that before. The famous Titanic was unsinkable, and it did sink. But this ship was unsinkable because it had a flotation device inside of the ship where even if the ship filled up with water, it would not sink. Anyway, the captain, Burrock, called the Coast Guard a little while into the trip because he said he had hit something. He was not stressed out, he was totally calm. He had hit something and he just needed to tow back to the ocean. He had one other passenger on board, and the Coast Guard went to help them, but they were nowhere to be seen. And it's a little weird that they were nowhere to be seen, considering they had flares, they had life jackets, they had flotation devices, as the seats served as flotation devices as well, and the ship itself could not sink. So even if it was sinking, they could have jumped off with a flotation device, shot off some flares. No, they were never found, and they even sent in the Navy to find them, and they still were never found. The next disappearance was a very famous one called Flight 19, and it happened December 5th, 1945. 5 Avenger torpedo bombers left their base to go on a routine training mission with Lieutenant Charles Taylor as their leader. A little while into the routine, first of all, they checked the planes beforehand. The planes were fine. They checked the skies beforehand. The skies were perfectly clear. So it was a perfectly routine training mission that they had all done before. Anyway, into the mission, Lieutenant Charles Taylor got lost. And so his 4 other flight companions were trying to find him, and they sent a transmission back to the base.
We can't get lost. Everything is wrong. We can't be sure of any direction. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean.
As you can see, the transmission isn't very clear. They just said it's really weird. They don't really know what's happening or where they are. And then they still went searching for him, and then they sent out another transmission.
We can't make out anything. It's maybe about 225 miles northeast of base. It looks like we're entering white water. We're completely lost. lost.
A little while later, a PBM Marina flying boat was sent out to rescue them and to find them based on the coordinates that the transmission had said. But that boat also disappeared, so they were never found. They did send out the whole Navy, and after the search came back inconclusive, the Navy said on an official statement that they had no idea what to even think about what had happened. So I have 5 theories to talk about the Bermuda Triangle. Some are very common, so you'll have heard them before. Some did not hear before, so it's kind of interesting to hear them. The first theory is that the Bermuda Triangle is just a dangerous place. A lot of hurricanes form there, a lot of hurricanes pass through there. There is heard of water spouts, which are basically water tornadoes, and the waters are a little bit rougher than anywhere else. So it's just a dangerous place. Sailors have to be very careful. Even the most experienced sailor can disappear. As well as this, they have some of the deepest trenches that have never been searched. So, I mean, a bunch of boats could be sunk down there and we wouldn't know because we've never looked into that yet. Hopefully we will one day. As well as this, there are studies that suggest the Bermuda Triangle has a lot of passengers and boats and planes that go through it, and a majority of those don't disappear. So it suggests that this isn't a weird place for people to be disappearing. It's just like any other part of the ocean. Weird things happen and they're never heard from again. The next theory is the magnetic phenomenon, which is basically the theory that in the Bermuda Triangle, true north and magnetic north line up, and so this causes weird things with compasses, which will explain several people claiming that their compasses weren't working and they didn't know where they were, they got lost. On top of this, lightning storms can also affect magnetic fields, so this could, if the magnetic field was already super weird because of true north and magnetic north lining up, then it would be even weirder in a lightning storm when compasses just failed completely. So those first 2 theories sound pretty good, sound pretty reliable and normal. The next theory is a little bit not. So this theory is about Atlantis. It basically claims that Atlantis basically sat where the Bermuda Triangle was and it got sucked into the ocean, and so Atlantis is still in the Bermuda Triangle, just under the water. And we've all heard tales, Atlantis was first coined by Plato, and we've all heard tales that it was a very powerful civilization that lived there, and they're saying that these ships and planes that disappeared were either being called to Atlantis, and they became residents of Atlantis, or they just cause their ships to sink and crash because they have so much power, which power that we still haven't even equaled yet, which is what is said in history books and such. The next theory is the gateway to another universe or a black hole. Basically, like a portal or something, and it claims that people just disappear. They go through this portal, the planes or the ships go through, and then they're never heard from again because they're in an alternate dimension or alternate universe. Another theory is that it's a black hole. So this black hole opens up occasionally and will suck ships and planes into it and then close up and not do that all the time. So this is one of the theories, and I will just explain some of the disappearances. It could also explain why some people believe that their flight time was much faster than they intended. One pilot claimed that he had entered a weird electromagnetic fog that was screwing up his compass, and he had seen on his watch that the flight time it took was 40 minutes until he got out of the fog, but he had flown a distance that equaled 90 minutes. And then, of course, the very last theory that we all love so much is aliens. Alien abductions, they come and this is where they abduct people and do their weird tests on them. This is also backed up by the fact that someone believes that close by that area, the US has an underwater UFO research facility or something like that, and it's called Underwater Area 51. So I really love the Bermuda Triangle, and it was really fun talking to you guys about it. I don't know which theory I believe, but what do you believe? Most people just think that people disappear. It's normal. It's the ocean. We have not explored all of it, so it's just a natural thing until we know what's really going on. Well, if you guys are interested, then please comment what you would like my next video to be.